So let us start the next chapter, chapter number 7. So now from chapter 7 to 12, Krishna begins to explain the process of Bhakti Yoga elaborately. So in the earlier chapter, Krishna spoke about attaining liberation by working with detachment, retention, action. And now he will speak about devotion in action. So this is the thing which will go on. And it also speak about limbs of all Bhakti Yoga, Shravanam or hearing, about Supreme Lord, and by which one can know the full absolute truth and the living entity, the material nature and their manifestation. So now, in the 7th chapter, Krishna asks Arjuna to hear about him. So let's start the verse number 1. Shri Bhagwan Vaja Maya Sakta Manapartha Yogamunjanmad Ashaya Asamshayam Samagram Yatha Gyasasi Tatshunu. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, now here, O son of Pritha, how by practicing yoga in full consciousness of me, with mind attached to me, you can know me in full, free from doubt. So now, Krishna said in the last verse that Bhakti Yoga is the highest, and therefore now he is saying that how can one perform Bhakti Yoga, or what is the process and things, is now clarifying all this further verses. In the 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, the nature of Krishna consciousness is fully described. Krishna is full in all opulences, and how he manifests such opulences is described here. Also, 4 kinds of fortunate people who become attached to Krishna, and 4 kinds of unfortunate people who never take to Krishna are described in the chapter. So, who comes to Krishna consciousness? Who are the people that is described? And who are the people who do not come to Krishna consciousness is described in further verses. And how to know Krishna in each and everything is also described in this chapter. In the first 6 chapters of Bhagavad Gita, the living entity has been described as non-material spirit soul, capable of elevating himself to the self-realization by different types of yogas. At the end of the 6th chapter, it has been clearly stated that by the steady concentration of the mind upon Krishna, or in other words, by Krishna consciousness, is the highest form of all yoga. By concentrating one's mind upon Krishna, one is able to know the absolute truth completely, but not otherwise. Impersonal Brahma Jyoti or localized Paramatma realization is not perfect knowledge of the absolute truth, because it is partial. So knowing about Brahman and Paramatma is a process which is not fully complete. It is partial complete, because knowing fully Paramatma, then Brahman and Bhagwan is perfect knowledge. And therefore we should know the 3 aspects in full. Some people or some devotees only come to the level of Brahman, and therefore they want to merge in Brahman, but that knowledge is imperfect. Full and scientific knowledge is Krishna, and everything is revealed to the person in Krishna consciousness. In complete Krishna consciousness, one knows that Krishna is the ultimate knowledge beyond any doubts. Different types of yoga are only stepping stones on the path of Krishna consciousness. One who takes directly to Krishna consciousness automatically knows about Brahma Jyoti and Paramatma in full. By practice of Krishna consciousness yoga, one can know everything in full, namely the absolute truth, the living entities, the material nature, and the manifestation with paraphernalia. So, this Sambandh Gyan means knowing all these things, knowing Krishna, knowing living entities, knowing the material nature and their manifestation. So, this all things one knows, and by practice of Krishna consciousness, one gradually gets all this knowledge. One should therefore begin yoga practice as directed in the last of 6th chapter. Concentration of the mind upon Krishna, the Supreme, is made possible by prescribed devotional service in 9 different forms, of which Shravanam is the first and most important. So whatever devotional service starts, it starts with Shravanam. What are we hearing? If we are hearing perfect thing, then our practice will be perfect. And therefore, the most important thing in our devotional life should be Shravanam, or hearing, or reading, whatever it may be, reading from scriptures or hearing. So this is the most important thing. If this is done perfectly, then the further chanting and all other process will start. Otherwise, this will not start. And therefore, we see there are so many people who are giving so many spiritual courses, but there's no transformation of person who is hearing it. And therefore, the Shravanam is not done properly. And therefore, is most important. The Lord therefore says to Arjuna, Tat Shunu, or hear from me. No one can be a greater authority than Krishna, and therefore, by hearing from him, one receives the greatest opportunity to become perfectly Krishna conscious person. One has therefore to learn from Krishna directly or from a pure devotee of Krishna and not from a non-devotee upstart puffed up with academic education. So people who are very well educated academically and who teach Bhagavad Gita or scriptures or tell about devotional service or different things should not be heard. Why? See, if we are ill, we go to a doctor. If we need the help of how to make a building, we go to an engineer. Similarly, if we want to know about something about devotional service, we should go to a devotee and not to educated accommodation. Otherwise, will the purpose of this will be failed. And therefore, if one goes to any accommodation or something, he can get some knowledge, but the devotion will not transfer. So one becomes a devotee by the touch of another devotee. So the Bhakti Devi is sitting in the heart of a devotee, and when the devotee wishes that please make this person or this person devotee, then what happens? The Bhakti Devi from his heart gets transferred to other person, and the other person also becomes a devotee. And therefore, this the work of spreading Krishna consciousness or making other devotees is in the hands of devotees who are in the Madhyam or Uttam Adhikar level. So they are the person who actually give devotional service to others. And therefore, they have the right, not the ones who are well educated, who know scriptures but who do not follow them. So such person can speak about it, but if they are not following, they cannot give devotional service to others. They can give some knowledge to others. That is secondary thing. So in the Srimad Bhagavatam, this process of understanding Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the absolute truth, is described in the second chapter of the first canto as follows. Shanvatam Sakatha Krishna Punya Shavana Ketana Hridayantosti Abhadrani Vidnoti Surat Satam. So when we hear about Krishna, which is Punya Shavana, what happened? Hridayanto. So in the heart there is so much Abhadra. Abhadra means bad. And this all is cleared. And then what happens? नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी. So all the nashtaprayashu, but all is gone. And then how it is done? Nityam Bhagavad. Every day when we hear, when we listen to Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, Chaitanya Chaitanya, all things, then this happens. And Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Neshik. Then the Nishtha arises. And then what happens? Tada Yajastamo Bhava Kamalobhadayaschaye Chetere Teranavidam Sitam Sattve Pasidati. So Rajogun and Tamogun is finished. It is very destroyed, and then gradually the mode of goodness arises, and then the mode of goodness leads to Shuddha Sattva or Krishna consciousness. Evam prasanna manaso bhagavad bhakti yogata bhagavad tattva vijnanam mukta sangasya jayate. So then one is very much happy, and in this way he knows Bhagavad Tattva Vijnana and he can become freed. And then vidyate vidya grantis chityate sarva samshaya shiyante chasya karmani deshvaya vatmanishware. So in this way all the misgivings and everything is gone, and one can gradually go back to Godhead. So to hear about Krishna from Vedic literature or to hear from him directly through the Bhagavad Gita is itself righteous activity. And for one who hears about Krishna, Lord Krishna, who is dwelling in everyone's hearts, acts as the best well-wishing friend and purifies the devotees who constantly engage in the hearing of him. So when we chant and hear, what happens? Gradually our hearts get purified. All the misgivings, all the unimportant things get cleared. In this way, a devotee naturally develops his dormant transcendental knowledge. As he hears more about Krishna from the Bhagavatam and from the devotees, he becomes fixed in the devotional service of the Lord. By development of devotional service, one becomes freed from the modes of passion and ignorance. So when he hears more, he becomes fixed in devotional, and when he starts devotional service, what happens? Then gradually modes of passion and ignorance are decreased, and thus lust and avarice are diminished. So please understand, one can practice devotional service from any point of time. One may be in passion, ignorance, at any point of time. But if one wants to continue practicing devotional service, then gradually one has to come above mode of ignorance and mode of passion. In mode of ignorance and mode of passion, actual bhakti does not happen. Actual bhakti happens in the mode of goodness only. So one can start practicing devotion from any point, but one cannot sustain its devotion practice if one is in the mode of goodness or one is in the mode of passion or ignorance. In both these modes, actually bhakti does not blossom. Only the mode of goodness it blossoms, and therefore one should strive to come to the mode of goodness, and therefore one's eating, one's seeing, one's hearing, all should be refined. One should not eat outside in restaurants and in parties and so many places. And especially nowadays, the trend is that in same hotel, vegetarian, non-vegetarian is been cooked and given. So such places are should be avoided as far as possible. And similarly, we should not eat even from the hands of non-devotees unless there is no other option. Like in some places, there are no devotees available. So it may be exception if there is a like case, but it should be avoided as far as possible. And we need to pay the price of if we do some mistake. So whenever if eat from the hands of non-devotees, some other person who are not devotees, then we should understand that that day our devotional service will hamper, and for some days further till the time it is not again come back to the normal, we'll have to face the consequences. There is nothing free in this material world, and therefore we should try that our speaking, our eating, our thinking, everything should gradually come to the mode of goodness level if we want to progress further in the bhakti marg. Mhm. And understand the science of purpose. The bhakti yoga serves the hard knot of material affection and enables the one to come at once to the stage of asamshayam samagram, understanding of the supreme absolute personality of Godhead. So, because of bhakti yoga, what happens? The knot of material affection towards our family relatives and all is cut. All the samsara is cut. So it doesn't mean that we leave them. We serve them, but without any attachment. So that is the case, and therefore this should happen, that one should not be affectionate based on bodily connection, but one should be affectionate based on spiritual connection. So in this way, we should try to serve all and be blissful. Therefore, only by hearing from Krishna or from his devotee in Krishna consciousness can one understand the science of Krishna. So if you want to understand the science of Krishna, it can be only and only through the Krishna or his devotees. There is no other way. If somebody is not a devotee of Krishna, then whatever he may say will not be able to understand. And therefore, we should note this very carefully, and we should not go to big pandals and katha and all where the speaker himself is not a devotee. If the speaker himself does not show by his daily practice that he's chanting, hearing, and doing all the things, then we should not go to hear him, because if he's only doing Bhagavad Katha for name, fame, and anything, the real thing will be missed and will not get any benefit from that katha hearing. And then verse number 2, Krishna says that I will explain both my material and spiritual energies to you. ज्ञानं तेहं सविज्ञानम् इदं वक्ष्यामि अशेषत यज्ञात्वा नेह भूयोऽन्यात् ज्ञात्वा ज्ञात्वा व्ययम् अविष्यते. I shall now declare unto you in full this knowledge, both phenomenal and luminous, thus being known, nothing further shall remain for you to know. Complete knowledge includes knowledge of the phenomenal world, the spirit behind it, and the source of both of them. This is transcendental knowledge. The Lord wants to explain the above mentioned system of knowledge because Arjuna is Krishna's confident devotee and friend. In the beginning of the 4th chapter, this expression was given by the Lord. And it is again confirmed here. Complete knowledge can be achieved only by the devotee of the Lord in disciplic succession directly from the Lord. Therefore, one should be intelligent enough to know the source of all knowledge, who is the cause of all causes, and the only object of meditation in all types of yoga practice. When the cause of all causes becomes known, then everything knowable becomes known, and nothing remains unknown. The Vedas say, Kashmin bhagavo vijanata sarvam idam vijanatam bhavati. So, if we know Krishna, then all other things will be knowable to us. And therefore, we should try to understand as far as our capacity goes about Krishna, his devotees, devotional paraphernalia, about this material world, and the jiva and all. We should try to know all these things. And this is all explained in all the chapters of Bhagavad Gita. So now, Krishna speaks of how very few people have this knowledge. So the variety of realized knowledge is very, very few. Very, very less people know about Krishna and about Krishna's energy. So now Krishna will speak about all this energy in all the further verses. Let's see the verse number 3. Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschit yadati siddhaye yatatam api siddhana kaschin mam veti tattvata. Out of many thousands among men, one may endeavor for perfection, and out of those who have achieved for perfection, hardly one knows me in truth. So we can see how there is rarity. Out of thousands among men, there are many thousands and thousands of men. One may endeavor for perfection. Somebody may say, "Oh, let me think. What is material life meant for? Let me do devotions and go back to God." So maybe thousands, maybe in some few may see this. And out of those who achieve perfection, so like this, some may achieve perfections, and like there are few who achieve perfection. And out of them, hardly one knows Krishna. So this is the rarity of knowing Krishna, rarity of knowledge. But there are various grades of men, and out of many thousands, one may be sufficiently interested in transcendental and try to know what is self, what is body, and what is absolute truth. And therefore, whenever we have spiritual discourse and all, we'll never find that is houseful. If there is some cricket match, if some politician is giving some speech or some film actor comes, the whole stadium will be full. But as far as devotional service is concerned, not many will come. And whenever you speak true, pure philosophy, the people attending will very, very less. And therefore, this is the situation that one may be sufficiently interested in transcendental to know the self, to know the body, absolute. Very, very less people want to know everything. Most people are wanting only sense gratification. And if somebody gives sense gratification, they will go behind them. But if somebody gives self-realization, they will not go behind them. Generally, mankind is simply engaged in the animal propensities, namely eating, sleeping, defending, and mating. And hardly anyone is interested in transcendent knowledge. The first 6 chapters of Gita are meant for those who are interested in transcendent knowledge, in understanding the self, the super self, and the process of relation. Why? Dhyan Yoga, and distinction of the self from matter. However, Krishna can be known only by person who are in Krishna consciousness. Other transcendentalists may achieve impersonal Brahman realization, for this is easier than understanding Krishna. Krishna is supreme person, but at the same time, he is beyond the knowledge of Brahman and Paramatma. The yogis and jnanis are confused in their attempts to understand Krishna, although the greatest of the impulse, Sripad Shankaracharya, has admitted uh, in his Gita commentary that Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead. His followers do not accept Krishna as such, for it is very difficult to know Krishna even though one has transcendental realization of impersonal Brahman. So, mm, to understand Brahman realization is easy, but the practice is difficult. To get to it is difficult, and to understand Krishna is difficult, but the practice is easy, and one can go to the goal very faster. And so many yogis are trying to understand Krishna, but they are not be able to understand. And yes, Sripad Shankaracharya name is there, who is admitted in Gita commentary that Krishna is supreme personality of Govinda, and therefore he says Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Mudamate. So that is what it says. Krishna is supreme personality of Godhead, the cause of all causes, and the primary Lord Krishna. And therefore this Brahma Samhita says, Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha Anadiradir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. It is very difficult for the non-devotees to know him. Although non-devotees declare that the path of bhakti or devotion is very easy, they cannot practice it. So this is the important point here. See, one may know that I should practice devotional service. One may know that this is the most easy, this is what I should do. But still, if one does not have that sukruti, one will not be able to chant the rounds. One will not be able to do devotional service. So knowledge itself is not enough. One needs that sukruti. And how does one get sukruti? By serving advanced devotees. So if one renders some devotional service to them, by serving them in whatever possible, one will get the knowledge also of devotional service, and then one will be able to practice. So association of devotees, serving them favorably, will help one to convert gyan into vigyan, the knowledge which we have, into the practice, and this will help it. And therefore, association of devotees and service to devotees is a non-negotiable part of devotional service. And everybody should try in his own way, either by Lakshmi, either by personally serving, or either by hearing to them or following instructions, whatever case may be, one should try to serve devotees. If the path of bhakti is so easy as a non-devotee class of men proclaim, then why do they take up difficult path? Actually, the path of bhakti is not easy. The so-called path of bhakti practiced by unauthorized person without knowledge of bhakti may be easy, but when it is practiced factually according to the rules and regulations, the speculative scholars and philosophers fall away from the path. So actually, the path of bhakti is simple but difficult to practice, because you have to practice same mantra, everything is same. So actual bhakti starts after uh, practicing of 10 to 15 years in bhakti. So then the actual bhakti starts when we know the places we have gone to, Vrindavan, Mathura, everywhere, when the mantra is same and we know basically everything. In the initial, what happens is everything is new. So there is this euphoria of newness. So I want to know this place. I've never gone to Mayapur. Let me go there. I want to go to Vrindavan. I've never went there. So like this, you go to different places every year. The mantra you chant. So you eat different items. Everything is new for you, and therefore there is some enthusiasm. But after some years, everything becomes monotonous. same mantra, same Mangalarati, same place, everything will be same, and you have seen everything. And after that, if you can practice bhakti, that means actually the bhakti has started. Till then, it take its own time. So speculative scholars and philosophers follow from paths. Srila Rupa Goswami writes in his Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Shruti Smriti Pranadi Pancharatra Vidim Vina Aikantiki Hare Bhaktir Utpatayeva Kalpate. Devotion service of the Lord that ignores the authorized Vedic literatures like the Upanishads, Puranas, and Narada Pancharatra is simply an unnecessary disturbance in society. So whatever devotional one does, one should have backup of Vedic literatures. Without that, if somebody unauthorizedly does something and he ignores the authorized Vedic literatures, then he is not doing properly. And therefore, one should practice devotional service only on the basis of authorized the books only, otherwise not. It is not possible for the Brahman-less, impersonalized, or the Paramatma-less yogi to understand Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as a son of Mother Yashoda or the charioteer of Arjuna. See, for a people who think that Krishna or Vishnu is the highest person, they worship in awe and reverence. And when they see that, oh, Yashodama is binding Krishna, or Krishna is become charioteer of Arjuna, that is become Pasati, it is unimaginable. Because God is God, God is what is need to be worshipped. He is Supreme Personality of Godhead. And we need to serve God. That is the proposition. And that is also in Aishwarya mode. But when God is serving his devotees, this is not understandable even to great yogis and Rishimunis. And therefore, to understand Krishna is not easy. And therefore, it is said, even the great demigods sometimes confuse our Krishna. Muyati yat suraya. So, mam tu vedana kashna. No one knows me as I am. The Lord says, and if one does know him, then samatma sudurlabha. Such a great soul is very rare, very, very rare. So therefore, in crores and crores of population, maybe there may be few who know Krishna perfectly. Very, very rare souls. Therefore, unless one practices devotional service to the Lord, one cannot know Krishna as he is Tattvata, even though one is a great scholar or philosopher. So, education is not the qualification of knowing Krishna. It is devotional service which is the qualification of knowing Krishna. If one is devotee, then he can know Krishna. And if one has PhD, one is scholar and everything, one may not know Krishna. So, therefore, we should understand that devotion is only cause by which one can know him. Only the pure devotees can know something of unconditional transcendental qualities on Krishna. His being the cause of all causes, his omnipotence and opulence, and his wealth, fame, strength, beauty, knowledge, and intention. Because Krishna is benevolently inclined to his devotees. So we know these six qualities of Krishna, or six things which are like wealth, fame, strength, beauty, knowledge, and intention. Because of this, he is known as Krishna. He is the last word in Brahman realization, and the devotees can alone realize him as he is. So, he is the last word, the highest, and only devotees can know him. Atasha Krishna namadi na bhavet grahyam indriya sevan mukhe hi jivado swayam eha spurati ada. No one can understand Krishna as he is by the blunt material senses. But he reveals himself to the devotees, being pleased with them for their transcendent loving service into him. See again, we cannot know Krishna by our own born endeavors. But what we do, we try to make our endeavors so that Krishna is pleased. Again, here is written that no one can understand Krishna as is by his blunt material senses. So our senses which we have, the eyes, nose, and buddhi, actually are material senses. And what we know, we need to understand, or what we want to understand is Krishna, that is spiritual substance. So how can this material substance can know the spiritual substance? It is not possible. So what we do by doing all this, that is we just make our endeavor. And what does Krishna do? Being pleased with them to what they translate loving service into him. So when he is pleased, what happens is he reveals himself to us. And therefore, if he reveals himself, then only we can know him. Otherwise, it's not possible. Now, from 4 to 12, now Krishna will describe his different energies, starting with his inferior energy in verse number 4. भूमिरापो नल वायु खम मनो बुद्धिरेव च अहंकार इति यमे भिन्न प्रकृति अस्तदा. Earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, and false ego. All together, this 8 constitute my separated material energies. So this is material energy, and in this we know we have 5 gross material elements and 3 subtle. So total we have 8 elements, which are like 8 separated material energies. The signs of God analyzes the constant position of God and his diverse energies. Material nature is called Prakriti, or the energy of the Lord in his different Purusha incarnation or expression as described in the Satvata Tantra. Vishnu Sutrini Rupani Purushakyani Ato Vidu Ekam Tu Mahatastaste Ditiyam Tva Anda Samsitam Ditiyam Sarvabhutastam Tani Gyatva Vimuchyate. For material creation, Lord Krishna's planning expression assumes 3 Vishnus. The first one, Mahavishnu, creates a total material energy known as Mahatattva. Second, Garbhodaya Vishnu enters into all the universe to create diversities in each of them. And third, Kshirodaya Vishnu is diffused with all pervading super soul in all the universes and is known as Paramatma. He is present even within the atoms. Anyone who knows these 3 Vishnus can be liberated from material entanglement. So, it is a process of creation which comes in second canto of Srimad Bhagavatam and third canto also. And some claims are there here and there in so many books. So, there are 3 kinds of Vishnu. One is Kanadashaya Vishnu, then Garbhodashaya Vishnu, and then Shirodashaya Vishnu. So, they do all the work of creating and then destruction and everything. So, Mahavishnu, what he happens is from his pores, we see so many universes coming out. So they are raw material and it is all dark, nothing is there inside. So Garbhodashaya Vishnu, what he does, he fills the universe half with water and on that he then sleeps. And then from his navel, one lotus flower comes and all these things are being developed. And then when all the living beings come into life, then third Shirodashaya Vishnu, acting as super soul within the heart of all the living entities, direct them for different things. So this is how it is. This material world is a temporary manifestation of one of the energies of the Lord. All the activities of material world are directed by these three Vishnu expansions of Lord Krishna. So material world is actually temporary and not false, which others claim. So it is temporary and it is one of the energies of the Lord. So it comes, goes again, comes, goes again. So it is like when Mahavishnu breathes, all the universes from his pores come out. And when he again takes his breath back, then what happens? All the things are gone. So when the air is released from his nostrils, everything comes, and when he takes the air back, everything is finished. So this is the span of the universe or even Brahma. So from our time, it may be huge, but from Mahavishnu's time, it is very, very small. So Material world is a temporary manifestation, and all these activities of material world are directed by these three Vishnus. Generally, one who does not know the science of God assumes that the material world is made for enjoyment of living entities, and that is the living entities are the Purushas, causes, controls, and enjoys of the material energy. This is very, very important thing, which is very difficult for most of people to understand, that when we think that there is no God or we are God, then what happens is everybody thinks that this world is for enjoyment, and they try to enjoy this world as far as their capacity goes, trying to squeeze out enjoyment from so many different activities and things. But actually, there is no enjoyment in this material world, because we are living entity. There is a life in us. Whereas this material things are dead matter. So dead matter cannot give us happiness. Like our body is a dead matter. It cannot give us enjoyment. It can give us a lot of pain, but not enjoyment. And therefore, we should understand this very thoroughly. Uh, that when we think the life is made for enjoyment, then we face a lot of difficulties. Our human form of life is meant for sacrifice. It is meant for God realization, and that is the only goal of our life. We may need to go for a job. We may need to do some work for our substance and everything. But ultimately, if the work is so much that we get no time for self-realization, then that work is useless. And yesterday only we were discussing from Ishopnishad, very important lines. I think I will just read it. Yeah, we are given this human form of life not to work hard like asses, swines, and dogs, but to attain the highest perfection of life. If we do not care for self-realization, the laws of nature force us to work very hard, even though we may not want to do so. Human beings in this age have been forced to work hard like the ass and bullock to pull carts. So the point is, if one is not a devotee, what will happen in this material world will make that person to do very, very hard work, and he will never come out of all these things. So he will have to work hard like ass and bulls. So the ass works for his master for some grass, and the master sometimes beats him and only feeds him half the grass. Still, the ass will work for his master. Similarly, we see in this material world, people are working day and night for something. So if they are not becoming self-realized, they are not becoming devotees, what will happen? This material world will force them to do much more work than required, and that person will always busy, and then always have a excuse, oh, we don't have time for your service. He will never have, because he wants to uh, control this material world and enjoy this material world. He never wants to serve the Supreme Personality of God, and therefore he will always be stuck. According to Bhagavad Gita, this atheistic conclusion is false. In the verse in discussion, it is stated that Krishna is the origin cause of material manifestation. So everything comes from Krishna, and therefore we should understand that it should be utilized for the service of Krishna. Srimad Bhagavatam also confirms this. The ingredients of the material manifestation are separated energies of the Lord. Even the Brahma Jyoti, which is ultimate goal of impersonalized, is a spiritual energy manifested in the spiritual sky. There are no spiritual diversities in the Brahma Jyoti as they are in the Vaikuntha Lokas. And the impersonal accept this Brahma Jyoti is the ultimate eternal goal. So in the Brahma Jyoti, actually there is no much activity. One stays there in the Shanta Rasa. So why do people want to merge into impersonal or go to there is because in this material world, most of people do not get a good feeling of relationships, and they are exploited in so many ways and so many things happen. So they think that, okay, let me not also have personal relation in the spiritual world also. But there the case is different because of getting hard knocks here. They think that, okay, impersonal Brahman is the best. Just get merged into it, then nothing doing. That's all. because people do not want to get hurt, and that is the reason they say that there is nothing beyond this, and they want to merge into Brahman Jyoti. The Paramatma manifestation is also temporarily all-pervasive aspect of Shiva Vishnu. So we see the Paramatma is there in everybody's heart, but it does not come with us in the spiritual world. There is no Paramatma in the spiritual world, and therefore, uh, one who meditates on Paramatma either gets the Brahma Jyoti, and if he progress further, he may become Bhakta and go back to spiritual world also. The Paramatma is not eternal in the spiritual world. So it is temporary only in the on this material world, is not in the spiritual world. Therefore, the abstract, factual, absolute truth, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, he is complete energetic person, and he possesses different separated uh, and internal energies. So in the material energy, the principal manifestations are 8, as above mentioned. Out of this, the first five manifestations, namely earth, water, fire, and sky, are called 5 genetic creations or gross material creations, within which the 5 sense objects are included. They are manifestations of physical sound, touch, form, taste, and smell. So this we have saw before also that, and this also that these 5 objects are represented, like earth has smell, water has form, water has taste, and fire has form, and this way air has touch, and sky has space, and uh, sound also. So in this way is all there. So material science comprises of these 10 items and nothing more, but the other 3 items, namely mind and false ego, are neglected by the materialist. So this 3 is the part of subtle body which is not seen by most of people in this world, and therefore they neglect it. Philosophers who deal with mental activities are also in not perfect in knowledge, because they do not know the ultimate source, Krishna. The false ego, I am, and it is my, which constitute the basic principle of material existence, includes 10 sense organs for material activities. Intelligence refers to the total material creation called the Mahat Tattva. Therefore, from the 8 separated energies of the Lord are manifested the 24 elements of the material world, which are subject matter of Sankhya aesthetic philosophy. Uh, they are originally offshoots of from Krishna energy, and we separated from him. But aesthetic Sankhya philosophers with pure fund of knowledge do not know Krishna as cause of all causes. The subject matter for discussion in the Sankhya philosophy is only the manifestation of the eternal energy of Krishna, and is described in the Bhagavad Gita. So the Sankhya philosophy is explained in detail in the third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. So one is atheistic Sankhya philosophy, and one is theistic Sankhya philosophy. So we generally read the theistic Sankhya philosophy in the third canto, which is written by Kapila Muni, the son of Devoti, and that is described in detail there. And yeah, so I think we'll stop here. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.